Hey guys, welcome to Nerdarchy, for nerds by nerds. I'm Nerdarchus Ryan, and I'm joined by
Eric Stave.
Nerdarchus Ted.
And today we have a question from Button Tapper and from Oliver Wright, and they're asking about puzzles in your D&D game.
If you guys have questions, you can submit them to us at nerdarchy@gmail.com or over on the forums.
So puzzles.
Puzzles.
So you just like dump out a bunch of jigsaw puzzle, 500 pieces or whatever. The party works on it for like 4 or 5 hours, and that's the end of your gaming session. Perfect.
You go out on a date, come back,
like pick up a 6-pack, go out on a date, get some dinner, you know, some Ethiopian. It's awesome.
So you can you use intelligence rolls or any kind of thing to get pieces to fit together?
You could, and then the GM's like, I don't know, like it's a puzzle. You better fucking figure it out. That shit ain't done when I get back.
Well, no.
If that does not look like a puppy and a basket when I get back.
This is what you do when they make their intelligence rolls. You just hand them the corners. You're like, here, you start with these.
Or no, wait. At first they don't even get the picture, and then they make the intelligence roll. Here's the picture to work on.
No, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Joking aside, we are talking about using puzzles in your tabletop RPG, and it's always one of those things that I find, even as an experienced game master, that they can be incredibly challenging because
puzzling, you could even say.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So the things that I've encountered as problems with them, either the players are not seeing what I feel is the obvious direction or starting point, or it's something that's like, oh yeah, I've heard of that one, and I'm just gonna,
I hate using puzzles because Ted's really good at riddles and puzzles and stuff. He always knows the answer. The only thing I can do is hope the rest of the party talks him out of his decision. Well, it's happened quite a few times.
So really the question is like, well, if you're playing an intelligent, wise character, that makes sense. If you're playing the dumbass of the group, you're not playing to your stats. Like if your mentals are like 8. You shouldn't be good at puzzles unless there's like some weird thing in your background where he's kind of like a savant, like like he's Rain Man basically.
Here's the point where I go, okay, allow for crosstalk,
because the smarter characters would have thought of the thing that the smarter players.
And that's the other thing that can come up is what happens if you're Joe Average, but you're playing that character with a 17, 18, 20 intelligence.
The group think of the table should kind of amalgamate to that character, attribute to. Yeah, he literally like crunched all this data in like 10 seconds.
Or maybe you give that character a clue or something. I want to speak briefly to Button Tapper's question about his concern is if he puts puzzles in, he doesn't want it to just be skill checked through.
Yeah,
and that goes back to
lame. Like, it is not fun. Like,
it goes back to what we said. Like skill checks and knowledge checks should give you clues, but not the answer.
I agree.
It should give you an edge to do it, honoring the fact that you have that thing. But like sometimes just like solving out a puzzle, like it's fun, and like you can kind of think through it as your character and like have that sort of like interesting dialogue amongst the party.
So I've actually used, like, I guess in the last few sessions that I've run or over the course of this campaign, I've used like 3 puzzles.
Yeah, you know what, the Maze of Mandoon, there was that one too where you had like a little bit of a puzzle, I think, happened in that one.
Well, there was a clue as to how to get by an encounter without having combat.
Right.
So so that would be like a 4th one.
Yeah.
One was I did the 2 doors, 2 roads. Like there's a lot of different variations on this.
Like the movie Labyrinth
sort
of thing.
Yeah, one's lying, one's telling the truth. You can only ask one question, kind of deal. And like here's my suggestion. I'm not good at puzzles, so here's what I do. I cheat.
Steal from the internet.
I go to the internet and look for them. I have a Legend and Lore book, or Legend and Lairs book. It was from 3rd edition, and I've taken puzzles from there. There was one for the different dragons, and you had to like figure out. I ran it with you guys, but I used goats instead of dragons.
Yeah, right. Like you just reskin, like whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. I got a series of books years ago, and they're with my 3rd edition stuff. But it was literally a thing of puzzles that most of them would apply to.
Was it Dungeon Craft? Like because there was a book with it. Because the one I have is Dungeon Craft, I think, and it's got puzzles and traps. And
So if we find this, like, we could send links in the description below, which, you know, so if people want to pick them up, that'll help them to just steal A from the internet and B from like book resources. So we can put that in the description here.
Yeah, this was nothing related to tabletop. This was just a thing about, you know, puzzles and riddles, and it was, you know, things that a lot of them really could be reskinned or plopped right into a game, and I thought they were cool.
Well, you know, recently I did one with Tiamat, and, you know, basically just having them put the right shapes into the right
It's
slot.
a child's toy. It's
It was basically, and, you know, there's some monsters involved. It wasn't really a very good puzzle or very complex, but it was. I just wanted to do something different, throw it in there. And not always just have your encounters be the same all the time.
Well, also too, like, there was a game effect that, like, once you put the thing in the slot in the appropriate order, like, the door shut that the enemy was in. So, like, it would be lame if you solve the puzzle and you have to keep fighting, like, the supernatural entity. Like, if there's something with elementals or demons, like, once you solve the problem, I mean, sometimes it's like it's a battery that imps keep getting through it, or elementals, or whatever. So, like, that is the puzzle is to shut that thing off, or you keep having foes that are going to come in every single round.
And I kind of like the idea of introducing, like, monsters with the puzzle.
Yeah.
Only because there's going to be certain characters, like in that particular campaign itself, you have Bloodfang. Bloodfang is not solving riddles. Yeah.
He solves riddles with 2d6 points of damage plus his strength modifier. Yeah.
Pretty
46. He does fire damage on top of that.
You know, and, you know, even the Gobelos, you know, pretty much, if it's not nature oriented, because they're rangers,
or drug oriented,
yeah, nature or drug oriented, like, you know, that's not really their skill set or their character's mindset. So you need.
What's funny though is the players are all about it though.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But see, that's where the crosstalk can go and be like, they can give ideas to the players that should be solving those problems.
Yeah.
So and that's when I will allow, because again, you know, there's always like the difference between character knowledge and player knowledge, and a lot of times there's specific things that characters are going to know that, you know, players are not going to know, because guess what? We've never really adventured or
existed in that world. Where, like, the world to them is completely real. So, like, most aspects of, like, religion and cultural rights and this and that, like, that all makes sense to them. And us, like, we're playing pretend at it, like, every weekend, whereas, like, they exist in that world all the time.
But we would own their asses if they were playing, like, you know, bureaucrats and barristers.
Yeah, something like that. Exactly. Or, like, rules lawyer up, you know, whatever. So, like, so again, like, we'll talk about the rogue and his or her ability to disarm traps, but, like, a puzzle really isn't a trap, or there might be, like, a trap component where you want to give, like, a time frame for your players where, like, bad stuff's going to happen. Like, all right, caving in ceiling is kind of bad because you're just going to kill your party. It's the grumpy cat meme of rock falls, party dead, good.
That's my favorite one.
It's the best one. But, you know, like, sure, you could do a roof cave in, but that's, I don't know. It's like anything that's going to just kill your party.
Here's what I would probably allow for the rogue. Like, if there's like a time limit thing, perhaps, like, them being really super successful delays the time.
They can double the duration or something.
Yeah, it gives the party more time to think. Maybe they find mechanical clues that the other characters might not find. And even if you look at trap design in 5e, like, this is one of the things that 5e does really well, is really strong, is they give you, like, the trigger, they give you, you know, the clues to look for, like, how to disarm them. Like, they
actually put, like, a thing that you would do versus, like, in 3rd edition I felt it was more common that it's like, roll dice, trap stops.
Right.
Yeah, like, it's a little more interesting. Like, oh, you find the pressure plate and you know that if you jam something under, like, is it essential to the story? No, but it adds a little more flavor, makes the world a little more real.
You're honoring that skill set, that resource that a player bought in to do. Like, and I feel like that's important, like, to put stuff that whatever your players do to cater into the things that their characters do and are good at. So yeah, we can give them clues or give them more duration. I don't know. Is there, you know, like, they could know stuff to point out to other players,
right? Or like, hey, there's, you know, I think there's a fire mechanism over there, so maybe, you know, maybe when if the attack's going to happen, maybe it happens at a disadvantage, because it's as if the whole party has the dodge action going on,
right?
You know, or, you know, or things like that, or, you know, or maybe even award inspiration for them finding stuff, or you know, coming up with a cool idea. Obviously, cool ideas should be honored more so over die rolls.
Yeah.
I think, or they should, or maybe that gives some kind of bonus, or whatever. But I think creativity should be rewarded. And
the end result is puzzles should not be solved with die rolls. They're meant to be a different
Puzzling?
type of. They're meant to be a different type of challenge. They're meant to be overcome with thought and part
They're
of
meant to
conversation.
actually be interacted with, and just rolling the die doesn't interact with that piece of content that you put in your game.
Right.
Like, and that's the problem of it. So
I think that pretty much covers it. I mean, the key things are, reward creativity. Don't totally nullify ability checks, but don't give them the answers either. The best place to find puzzles is stealing them.
You know what? One minor thing before we really wrap up is there was Button Tapper brought up the idea of spellcasters and how they interact with puzzles, like being able to cast spells that maybe let you circumvent a puzzle.
Well, there are certain spells that I would allow to work. And more or less, it would probably be along the lines of like a legend lore spell, or if there's a corpse there, speak with dead, like things that give them information that they can then use.
And also too, like your resources as a player are finite, right? Like if a player chose to memorize this suite of spells as a spellcaster, because they can only memorize so many, then they're not always going to have the optimum spell for the occasion. But on those instances where they did, but they did still expend those spell slots. So
Right.
you've just attritioned what their resources are, and maybe they do spend a teleport spell to get out of the locking room trap. Fine, but maybe they missed something in that room that they were supposed to get too, and they're like, oh crap, I gotta teleport back in.
As kind of an addendum to that, you should allow first level or higher spells to be useful. Cantrips, you should probably find a way, not necessarily nullify them in the sense that they don't work, but they're not effective for what they need.
Right.
Because
So he had made mention that, what happens if they use fly? Well, fly's not going to necessarily make for the puzzle to just go away unless it's, there's a thing that's up there and we have to figure out the way this mechanism works to drop that thing. Okay, well, if they have fly, they can just go up and get it.
it's a third level spell.
It's a third level spell. If they're using that specifically to solve your puzzle,
So what it has to be is the key room in Harry Potter. The key, actually, that would be a good place to steal puzzles from Harry Potter, especially the first movie.
Throughout all of them.
Yeah. But with the flying key, finding the right key to fit into the hole or whatever, we're like, all right, great, you can fly up and go get it. But there's a million other keys. They're hostile to you, and you have to identify the correct key.
right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and in that instance, especially say you cast fly and you can go get it. Well, is if you said hostile, so does that mean something's attacking you while you're doing it? That's a concentration spell, so you're gonna have to keep concentrating on it
while you're getting pinged by a swarm of keys, a key swarm. Which we should make a monster now that's a key swarm. I think that'd be pretty fun.
I think we could probably finagle something like that.
Done and done.
Right.
Make it happen.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. So with that, you guys, maybe you can help us out with puzzles. It's not our strongest spot. In the comments below, while you're at it, like, share, and subscribe.
You can tweet at us at Nerdarchy.
And if you have any recommendations for puzzle books, put them in the comments below as well. And until next time,
Stay nerdy.